Hello and welcome to another Out of Spec Reviews video. Welcome to beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada, and welcome for the first time to a VinFast presented by me. We are at CES 2023 this year, and I haven't covered VinFast up to this point because any opportunity felt like there was quite a bit of company control to control the message. And well, now we're at the point where I was able just to walk up to their booth. If you turn around, you'll see a whole bunch of VinFast all over the place at this little activation event they're having at CES. And I was like, hey, I just want to make a YouTube video with it. The people had no idea who we were. And I was like, I just need to borrow a car for a few minutes. So they handed me the keys to this, and it's really going to be my first unfiltered, unbiased, uninfluenced review of the VinFast VF8. There's 1,000 of these that were just shipped here to America, of course, and that's where it's like, okay, it's getting real. It's time that we need to start covering this brand and this car. And to be totally transparent, I'm excited. I am all for new automakers coming into this space, especially ones that offer a value proposition. But I have to say, I've also been a little bit weary about covering VinFast because just some of the things I've seen, they flew hundreds of people over to Vietnam for this extravagant vacation. They invited us over to go on this big thing. And I was like, I don't want to spend 10 days on vacation to ride in your car for 20 minutes and drink $7,000 bottles of whiskey. What I want to do is experience the car. So call me when I can. And well, here's my opportunity. Now, we paid our way here, not influenced at all. They just handed us the keys. So here's what's going to happen. We are going to go for a drive. I'm going to drive the VinFast VF8 for the first time today, but it's just going to be on their little test course, and that's okay. But what we're also going to do is we've asked one of the VinFast folks to take us for a ride. I guess they're not approved for any general public or media to drive them on public roads yet. I don't know why, but pretty typical for events. We can't just go up and steal a car. But they were so nice to actually take us for a ride on the highway, on city streets, so we can really get an impression of the noise and ride quality out there. So I'll get as much of the low-speed driving characteristics in as possible. There's also a little course, so I'm going to try and send it until they pull me out of the car, of course, and then we'll go for a ride on the highway. So long video. It's our first experience with VinFast, and here's the VinFast VF8. I'm just going to reference some notes for some stats because I actually didn't know I was going to have the opportunity to drive this. So many things have happened this week where I've been able to review and drive cars that I didn't even know were going to be here. And this particular one is the VinFast VF8 Plus. There's two versions, the Eco and the Plus, and they seem really kind of close to each other. Not totally sure on pricing. Here's the thing. VinFast originally said that they were going to offer a battery subscription, and I was like, that doesn't really work in our market because you own the title to the car and all these things. And, they're like, no, we're going to do it. And now I'm just hearing rumblings from the folks here talking that might be going away. I think people are going to be pretty upset about that because that brought the starting price down really low on this car. We're talking $40,000 or so. Ooh, the lights just went off. How do we put those back on? Let me click unlock. And there we go. Okay. Yeah, brought it down to about $40,000, and you pay a couple $100s a month for the battery. It sounds like, and that still could happen, this is just rumors, that might not actually be happening, and the base price of this car would be like $55,000, $56,000, somewhere around there. Now, VinFast really seems to be spending a lot of money in many ways. First of all, they've hired a bunch of people. They're building a huge facility in North Carolina, which is awesome, actually. Big fan of that. And just an insane spend on marketing and brand recognition. And VinFast, 2 years ago went from a name that we've never heard of in America that is now commonly talked about every day. So you have to give them props for buying their way into coverage. They did a great job, but they couldn't buy their way into our review. We just stole the car from them. So VinFast VF8 Plus, this is the maxed out version. There's VinFast VF, was it 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 or 6, 7, 8, 9? Different size models and SUVs. VinFast is not new to building cars, by the way. They've built combustion cars over in Vietnam. They also are just, a huge company. Vin Group is massive. I mean, there's honestly no betting against these guys. This car came about in warp speed. I've never seen a vehicle go from concept to reality, a whole vehicle line, fully battery electric, in the amount of time that they did here. Does that mean they cut corners, or does that mean it's high quality? I don't know. I will say, the cars look really nice. The VF9 in particular, their big 3-row, looks incredible. This looks really good. You can't fault them on the styling, I think. Alyssa, your impressions?
I think it was really good, but there was one car that I didn't really favor, and it was because the window was really square and looked like a minivan's window.
Okay,
but that's
okay.
Just a weird thing.
Weird thing for Alyssa, but overall, like really nice looking cars, nice lighting here, but I haven't really touched and felt around them. So let me hit you with the specs before we do anything. This particular one is the 300 kilowatt power output version. That's 402 horsepower, so same as XC40 Recharge and C40 Recharge. System power on the base one is 260 kilowatts or 348 horsepower. I imagine it's the same motors, they just boost them 20 kilowatts each to get it from 260 up to 300. 620 Newton meters of torque, 457 pound-feet, pretty amazing. They say less than 5.5 seconds to 60. This doesn't need to be a performance car. You know, I review a lot of cars that I'm excited about their performance cred. This is not one of them. This needs to be an everyday cruiser, a very comfortable car to drive. There's 2 different battery pack sizes, and they're so close to each other that I'm not sure why they offered 2. There's an 82 kilowatt hour and an 87.7 kilowatt hour. Both are usable capacities. I don't know gross capacities, but I'm glad they list usable. If you're gonna list one of them, tell me what I can pull out of there. So this is the 87.7 kilowatt hour spicy one. And I think they have the exact same peak charging rate. They don't actually list how fast they charge. It's a bit worrying. Let me show you the charge port. But the charging time from 10 to 70% is 24 minutes on the small battery and 31 minutes on the big battery. That would indicate same charging speed at maximum. You can see just a regular CCS port. What the heck is going on with this thing? This has got to be the clumsiest, weirdest, and that's just going to wreck your paint. Look at that. So I would rip that off in a heartbeat, but I don't know. I don't want to get stuff in your CCS connection. Little V here, no lighting in here, by the way. This isn't meant to be an ultra premium car. Maybe VF9 will, but that's interesting. So 30 minutes basically from 10 to 70%. Then we don't know the charging curve. It could be another 10 minutes or 5 minutes from 70 to 80%. Really, well, interesting. I'm glad they also said that the charging time will vary depending on the level of charge in the battery pack and including temperature, state of battery health, and of course the charging units that it's plugged into will affect charging time. 277 miles of range on the one we're driving. That's because I think we have the big wheels. If you go for the basic version with the big battery, 292 miles. That's still a dual motor configuration, and I believe that's EPA driving range. I don't actually know that to be true, and I believe it's not now that I'm thinking about it. I'm pretty sure they actually had pretty poor EPA range, and they're showing WLTP here because it also shows consumption in kilowatt hour per 100 miles. Doesn't say what it is though. 3 driving modes, Eco, Normal, and Sport. It's all-wheel drive, 19-inch wheels, actually all around. Interesting, so I'm not sure why there's a range difference between the Eco and the Plus. Ventilated discs front and rear, and I think that's pretty much it. Basically, as you would expect, the top spec one gives you more than the lower spec one, and that's what we're going into. I actually want to show you the key here because it's totally backwards. You see this extra thing here? You would think you would hold the key this way. That looks normal, doesn't it, Alyssa? But actually it goes this way, but then the key ring's up here. So what's up with that?
I don't find that to be too odd.
I do, because now you got all this stuff in your hand.
But like, look how nice this is though.
Oh, so maybe they're on to something.
Here.
There's also this button that I have no idea what it does.
We'll press it. There we go.
So according to their key, I don't know what goes on in Vietnam, but the most important thing is the emergency. Why is that the most important button on the key? Then of course you have lock, unlock, and trunk. Power trunk, baby, nice. So, VinFast brought this thing to warp speed. I'm not sure what's going on. We kind of just stole the car from them. So we'll just push this off to the side. Not much trunk space here, Alyssa.
No, not at all.
ID4 has way more than this, don't you think?
Yeah, but it seems like there's a lot of space in the back.
It's almost like these rear seats are really reclined here. Yeah. Let's just take a look underfloor. Oh, nothing. There's nothing under here. There is a space for a spare, but there is no spare. So no tire installed, I don't believe. It is getting dark. Sorry, we've been filming all day. We just ran from Polestar 3 to film this video. I don't know what order they'll all go up in. Very neat. So Michigan manufacturer plates, US spec car. Of course, it's got the Type 1 connection on the side. And it really is a nice looking car. Good proportions. We selected this red one. I thought the red one looked pretty good for camera, especially at night. They have a really nice dark green that I would go for, but I particularly like the orange color. So I also want to pop the front trunk for you, which I believe I do at the UI. So run around over here while I figure out how to open this. Door handles feel surprisingly nice. Oh yeah, take a look at this right here on the screen. We can unlock and open everything. So let's hood unlock. I also like how VinFast let us borrow this car and then they just walked away. We're just in the back parking lot, just me and Alyssa filming this thing. It feels no control. Interesting, no latch on the hood.
Okay.
That's really good.
Nice.
Also, let me get the flashlight so you guys can see this. If you go to wide view, Alyssa, might be a little bit better. There you go, now you get an impression. So you can see some carpeted material right here that lifts up. Let's just start ripping on things. Okay, what's this? Don't open brake fluid or coolant fluid perhaps.
It says it right there.
Okay, coolant fluid. This one, your 12-volt battery, negative, and then your positive under there. Wow, this all feels like really cheap plastic, but who cares? It's under the hood of your car. This came from here. Fuse box. Another lid. Let's just show all that. Fuses. Okay, a lot of room apparently. Boom. Who else is pulling apart VinFasts on camera right now? And then under here, nothing. Just these little just like these tiny little carpet pieces just thrown in there, not held at all. No German automaker would allow that to happen, even on a lower cost product. So that's interesting. Washer fluid over here. Okay, looks pretty reasonable. Nothing to be worried about there. Let's test the clunk sound on the trunk. Ugh, not good.
Let's do the doors.
Let's do the doors. Got to do the thunk test. Alyssa, do the honors on this one. Oh, nice.
That was pretty good.
Nice on the doors.
Good pop.
Okay.
Go for it.
Good, good door thunk. Nice meaty door handles. Don't feel cheap or plasticky. You know, sometimes we drive like get like a rental car Nissan and the door feels like a tin can. Not the case here. Not to knock on Nissans, but no rear windshield wiper. Oh, there is a rear windshield wiper. It's up here.
Oh.
Nice. Very good. Nice design. So that's, what was that, Alyssa?
I was just trying to feel where the trunk thing is.
Ah, okay. So where is it? That little button right there.
But
Why are there
there's
two backup cameras?
There's two buttons.
Look at this. Two backup cameras.
In case one gets dirty.
I mean, the other one would get dirty though, don't you think?
Yeah.
Okay, good thought though.
That's why I don't review the cars.
Yeah, that's why she doesn't review them. Okay, let's try backseat room first. So I'm gonna hop over here. Are there any lights on the inside of this thing? Yes, they're just set to go off. So before you sit inside, Alyssa, actually I think it'd be better for viewers if you just stay out. I'm just gonna turn on the lights back here. Sorry for doing this at night, but okay, seating material feels stiff. Yeah, I don't know how else to describe it, yes. Nice light color interior though. Everyone's ripping down the strip in Las Vegas. Okay, I've already have so many thoughts. Let me describe to you the entry exit feeling into the back seat of the VinFast VF, what is it? 8. First of all, they're using USB-A ports and then USB-C, and they wrote down the power output availability. Usually that's to like show off your engineering prowess, but they wrote 90 watts.
Oh. Interesting.
So they could have done a 100 watt. That would have been great, but they didn't. 90 watts is still juicy enough. That'll run a MacBook Pro, no problem. Okay, so the door's really stiff to move. Like it's hard to move this thing left and right or open and closed. The grab handle, Alyssa, just feel the grab handle. It's straight plastic.
Oh.
And it's got these sharp edges that like rub away at your hands. You would never see that from an existing automaker. So this is the kind of stuff that I was worried about feeling or seeing. Door handle themselves feels better. What car were we just in that had really bad door handles? It was something, I can't remember what it was. Oh, the Fisker Ocean had really plasticky door handles. This has better door handles than that. So if you're a door handle guy, go for this over the Fisker Ocean. Auto down windows, how far down do they go? Not all the way. But that's okay, that's still pretty good. All right, let's just close the door now, ready? Nice door thunk, good room overall, very steep angle in the back. but I think there's got to be a way. Yes, you can change the recline angle, which is great. So I can lock it kind of anywhere in between. This would feel more comfortable to me. We have a center armrest, very wide. We have cup holders, nice. Feels good. The material feels a little bit cheap. Feels like they tried to make it feel expensive, but it turned out to be cheap. And the seat's just really flat. I mean, it's like sitting on a bench, but I wouldn't say it's uncomfortable. Plenty of headroom. It's a little bit narrow, actually on the left side. So like, I don't know, I feel like I can't really move my arms open, but it's not a very big car. Definitely the back seats of ID4 would be more comfortable than this, or an Ioniq 5 or something like that. But overall, not much to complain about. Everything you touch and feel, like look at how much that driver's seat moves. Just feels a bit chintzy to me. I hate to use that word. Maybe not screwed down as well as it should be. But we're gonna ride in it and see what it's all about. Let's jump up front, play around with the infotainment, then I'm gonna take it for the first drive. We are now in the VinFast. I hit the brake pedal. Whoa, went to 300 miles an hour. What? Why does it do that? That was crazy. Things are now dinging at me. Oh my gosh. It has the thickest seat adjustments I've ever felt. They definitely just went to a supplier and bought whatever seat adjustments they could. Wow, I can't get over how bad the door closing plastic, the little grab handle is. And it just digs into your hand and like rubs it every time, like it's scratching you. So now we're inside the VF8.
A lot quieter.
A lot quieter. I actually think I'm going to take off the mic for better audio. You join us now without the microphone in the VinFast VF8. I'm trying to figure out how the heck to move the steering wheel. Could be all electronically controlled. Door open. I actually don't know if they are. Oh, yours is. Closed. Great. So, first time seeing this UI. 33, 34 PSI. That makes sense. Unlock charging port. Unlock hood. Open trunk. Battery pack's at 99%, 258.5 miles, 69.8 degrees. I like how they give you the detail. That's kind of cool. Go over here, charging. So you can set 90% is what they recommend for a daily charging limit. For some reason, it won't let me go back down. Current limit, there's got to be a way to get in on this. And then remind battery level. It'll start dinging at you when you're from 1% all the way to 99%. So you can definitely tell like they just let you do whatever you want. I don't know how fast the onboard charger is. I'd love to know, but very interesting. So 90% daily limit. They really must have very little buffer on this car. Plug-in charge, interesting. I bet this uses ISO 15118 for plug-in charge, and display, power and regen gauge. Okay, so that would be this, very Tesla-esque. Oh wait, where'd it go? I touched away from it. Now I don't remember where it went. What mode were we in? How do we get back there? This one. What? There's games in here? Wow, this is like the crappiest looking UI I've ever seen.
It doesn't pick up on screen very well either.
The refresh rate isn't good. How about back up a little bit and go to 1? And then there you go. That should look better. Okay, let's just run through the stuff. We got parking lights, auto, fogs. So if you look out front, I'm going to turn fogs on and off, and you can see the throw is massively different. So I wouldn't drive this without fogs at all. That looks much bigger. Oh, actually, you know what? Where I think we were? We were in EV. There we go. And then you can use miles here. So 258 miles or percentage. We're fully charged. Interesting. Okay. So lighting we went through. Drive modes, eco, normal, or sporty. Creep on and off. Regen high. Head-up display is turned off. Why? Let's turn it on. Oh, we can go green. I got this thing in the windshield here. Okay, that's nice. White is how I like head-up display. Navigation, drive aids. Oh, cool. This is showing you what I'm seeing. Brightness, yeah, we'll go for it. Good. Heated steering wheel, and then also steering wheel position. So let's see, the wheel comes out. Wheel feels really video game steering wheel leather wrap. Not necessarily a bad thing, but it feels very leathery. I don't know if it has a full leather-free interior or not. Big air vents in the center here. Okay, so you can, steering wheel feels nice and small and sporty. It's really kind of a nice wheel. For some reason, we're in park, I'm hitting the throttle. There's a kickdown switch at the end of the throttle. Hear that? So I'm not sure what that's for. maybe eco mode to unlock full power, or they just use their gas pedal from their combustion cars that they made. So we have cameras of, I would say, maybe 2003 cell phone level quality. That doesn't really look that great, does it, Alyssa?
They even have two in the back.
Oh, where's the rear? Here we go. Maybe it uses, what are the two cameras for? Don't know. Okay, so that's interesting. Let's do some practical things with it though. I want to navigate somewhere, so I'm going to click this navigation match direction. We want to go from here to Fort Collins, Colorado. Wow, that keyboard should fill a bigger space. All right, so UI, I'm not a user experience guy, by the way. I'm not like a great reviewer of, I don't know, infotainment systems. I just like when they work, and this is a pretty ugly one. Colorado. Okay, so there we go. Fort Collins. It's got what 3 words? Emerge, warns, oath. Let's go there. Looking for a route. Will it do route planning? Every EV needs plug-in charge, which this has, apparently. It needs route planning, and it needs on-route battery preconditioning. And it seems to not do route planning because we're going to get there at negative 238%. I'm pretty sure the car is going to run out before you get to negative 238%. So that's a fail. Major fail. Don't launch a car without route planning. Let's just see. Add at a charging station, target a certain charge. Plan time for charging setup. What the heck? Upon reaching a charging station, 10%. So they kind of have the workings of a situation. CCS1 doesn't look like that. Charging power. We want 300 kilowatts. This car doesn't have it. So this is for searching for charging, and then VinFast partner only. But will it tell us who their partners are? Because I don't think they've announced their charging partners. That could be interesting if they did. Auto add charging. Hold on. Let's try this again. Auto add charging is now on. How do we get rid of satellite maps? Boom. Thank you. This one. Recents. Fort Collins. This is going to be a long video, won't it be, Alyssa?
Yeah.
But this is how we got to test cars. This is what we do pretty much. And that's just the nature of testing cars for the first time. This is really interesting. This is lock and unlock. We have volume. Wow, we just gave it crap for nothing. Look at this. Awesome route planning. Very good. Auto add charging on. That should just be default on anyway. So now this should tell us who their charging partners are hold on, let's do this the other way. We're going to go back to nav because I want to know if they've partnered with Electrify America or EVgo or, whoever. So, because they haven't announced that. So we're going to go settings, navigation, EV settings, preferred charging, VinFast partner only. This one, recents, Fort Collins, directions. Looking for a route. And if it can't do a route, then we know they didn't partner with EA. If they did a route, if they get it, then we know they did. This looks all convoluted. Doesn't it look like, if you go back and watch videos of like day one Tesla back in 2012, the Model S screen, very weird display. That's what all this looks like. I really hope they work to tune this to make it a little bit cleaner, a little bit higher quality. Just look at the edging around this graphic. It's like someone took a very low quality picture here and got it. So it's still looking for a route.
How do you open up this thing?
I've been thinking about that. I'm not sure. So it doesn't say. So let's navigate. Okay, so it was able to get us there. How do we go north up? Maybe we hit this. Doesn't matter. We want to go see what chargers they're bringing us to. Here's the first charging stop. Boom. Click. Tell me what it is. It looks like it's in the middle of an ocean. Why won't it tell us where we're going? Okay, Walmart, Cedar City, Love's, Salina. So all EA.
Yeah.
Yep, so I'm guessing they've partnered with Electrify America. But how about that? Good route planning. Nice job, VinFast. Why am I coming in with such low expectations? I'm actually kind of liking this thing. Okay, so let's talk seating position. Seats very firm. Not sure you would actually, it just came up and said park brakes applied, but I didn't touch anything. Not sure I'd get super I think I'd get pretty uncomfortable in the seat very quickly, to be honest. But that's just me. Everyone's different, so I encourage you to look. I'm guessing this is some sort of eye tracking camera right here in front of me. I have a steering wheel that has a whole bunch of buttons on it. They're very small. What the heck?
There's I was about to say there's a voice thingy.
There she goes. I'm going to turn her off. And yeah, it just feels very, yeah, got your speed adjustments. It's just like there was so much more room to make the buttons bigger. Why didn't they do that? So not everything feels totally optimized. Horn, good. Very tight steering, it feels like. I mean, I guess a small steering wheel, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Dry steering isn't good. Park, reverse, neutral, drive. That has got to be one of the worst backup cameras of any car. Just take a look here. I'm just going to inch it backwards just for a second. We're on the parking brake. How do I release it? I have no idea where the parking brake even is, but it should, per code, when I put my seatbelt on, release it now. There we go. Good. Into drive. Into drive. Won't go into drive. It's not giving me a warning it's not going into drive either. You have to hit the brake pedal. Wow, very touchy throttle. Back into park. 2 USB-A ports up here. Not seeing any USB-C. It should just all be C. We have volume here. That's a really nice knob. Really nice volume knob, I have to say. I don't know why that's door lock and not over here, but it is. Front windows all the way down. You can also see the rear mirrors are dimming, but only the center bit. If you zoom in there a little bit, Alyssa, our viewers will see the ring around the outside. So only there's still a large portion that's not dimmed. We have center storage with a whole bunch of snacks. So I guess VinFast comes with snacks. And the one thing I have no idea how to do is open this. Maybe we hit this. Ah, whoa. Let's go all the way back. Oh, it's got a sunroof. How nice is that? I love sunroofs. Can you tell it's been a long day of filming?
Yeah.
Okay, so now we just want a glass. That's right. We can just close that and you can even vent it. Oh, that's wonderful. Really nice work there. It could be a lot wider, but it's not. Anyway, enough of that. That's kind of the feeling of the car. Interesting cabin. I actually feel pretty comfortable up front. Pretty good room. I'm looking forward to spending some time with them. Again, for 55 grand, does it feel that premium? An Ioniq 5 and ID4 all-wheel drive, they're all right up there. Do you take the risk on a brand new car company for that much money, especially with no battery subscription? I actually think I'd feel less comfortable with the battery subscription, and I think that's really the big question. But let's experience a little bit more. I'm going to drive it around the test track for the first bit, and then we're going to go ride around after that. So I actually don't know where anyone went. Maybe they all went home. We'll just drive this for the rest of the day. So there's no on-off button. Oh, parking brake's down here, by the way.
Found it.
Yep. Cool. Well, let's, I think to shut it off, we just exit. I think I have the key on me. So let's go. Well, you joined me in the car with David now. How's it going, sir?
It's good. How are you?
Yeah, doing well. Thanks for taking us on a little drive. So the plan is we're kind of all in normal mode. To turn heated seats on, so that's the rear, and then I'm going to go over here and then there's cooling as well. Kind of silly that it brings up this whole extra menu, but UI can be software updated. Everything on this car is updatable over time, right?
That's correct.
Yeah, cool. Well, I'm really keen to go for a cruise, so let's hit the road, and yeah, maybe you can tell us a little bit about what you think about driving it too.
Yeah, let's do it.
You join us now in sport mode at a red light. Only one thing can happen, David, and that is wide open acceleration.
100%. Yes.
So we're fully charged. Let's give it the beans. Okay. Pretty good. Seems to give full power around 30 miles an hour, and then seems to be blending regen with the brakes as well. You can see the power meter right there. So I think for, what is it, 402 horsepower, 300 kilowatts, pretty sure XC40 Recharge feels a lot spicier than that, but it's not bad. It definitely gets out of its own way, so pleased. We're actually just heading towards the highway up here, and noticing a few things about the car. First of all, it seems to be really quiet from outside noises. We're really not hearing much of the traffic around, which is very nice. But then we're starting to hear little weird noises, like there's a rattle coming from the back right of the car, and then when David turns the steering wheel as well, I can hear the power steering situation up there. Just noises you wouldn't really hear in a fully refined package. And so I wonder if VinFast is like, let's get the early cars out, and you know what, we'll just change and update hardware as they go, and it's really speed to market based, or if it's always going to kind of be like this. And of course, every time I say the wrong words, it starts trying to figure out what I'm saying. So they're tracking us from inside the car. They're going to disable it if we say anything too bad. But no, we're just about to hop on the highway, and let's see how this thing cruises. We are just jumping on the highway now, and already so much to tell you about the experience. But when this turn levels out, we're doing about 50 miles an hour. Would you mind giving it the beans so we can feel the power up top? And yeah, really looking forward to it. Traffic, thankfully, is flowing pretty good here in Vegas at the moment. But whenever there's a safe spot, just give it a quick stab and we'll see how it feels. As everyone brakes in front of us. So when we wait for a spot to open up, I guess I'll tell you a little bit about sort of what I'm hearing and feeling. First of all, quite a few rattles around the car. Just feels like there's a lot of noise coming from, especially in the rear, actually, at speed. So that's surprising because it was pretty quiet in the city. And I'm watching David turn the wheel as well. The steering ratio seems to be pretty tight, so you don't actually need to put in much input to get the car to move, which is pretty nice. And interesting, I'm noticing a lot of regen at high state of charge as well, which would indicate big buffers, but then also not charging it to full every day. A 90% recommendation would indicate the opposite. So it's hard to know what's usable versus normal. But even just on that short little blast down the road, I'm really, to be totally honest, unimpressed with the noise quality of the car. Alyssa, how did it feel from the back seat?
Well, the back seat in general is just pretty flat, but I'm also sitting in the middle seat, so it's not a good.
About the noise back there.
Oh, yeah, it was very loud.
Okay.
As soon as we hit the highway, all I could hear was each crack
Rumble.
on the road. Yeah.
And when you think about this car's competitor, especially without, with battery subscription no longer being a thing, it kind of is like ID4 is dead solid on the highway, totally quiet. Ioniq 5 even more so, and then you're going into this for similar money, and yeah, it might have more outright power, it might have different tech that you'd be interested in, but it certainly doesn't feel really that well put together. But David, could you, since we're just kind of stuck in traffic, when you are able to, at least when no one's trying to jump and crash into us, could we try some of the adaptive cruise control lane centering thing?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
So I don't know what you need to hit on the wheel, but I'm seeing steering wheels just to your right hand, so if you can engage that, that'd be kind of fun to try out. Yeah, no rush at all. So I think we have to go on, which would be this right button, perhaps. Oh, I see, it's the bottom right button. We'll turn it on. There you go. And now try setting the speed with the bottom one. Nope. Maybe it just is not active. Yeah, we're not seeing any response here from the wheel on the driver assistance commands. Unavailable. So perhaps, that's still pre-production. We'll give it that. It's not been delivered to a customer yet, and it's very possible that, this will all be active by the time of delivery. But at least in our experience, we're not able to at least tell you how the driver assistance works at the moment. The limiter function seems to work, but not speed. We'll try and play around with it and be back to you in a minute. Yeah, let's give it the full beans. So that's flat. That's not 400 horsepower. Oh man, nice. Vegas style, baby. Yeah, definitely not 400 horsepower either. I mean, there's just no way. That feels quick. I mean, that's like maybe ID4 is faster than that too. That feels like 300, 280 to 300 horsepower to me. Wow. Maybe, and we're in sport. Can we try full throttle eco mode real quick? Give it the full beans here. So no power difference, eco to sport. It's smooth though feels really nicely planted. Wow, with all the weight down low, like from a handling perspective, that's really good. It's just not giving the power. Here you can see VinFast's level 2 charger. It looks like this is showing how many amps are coming out. It's called the V box, and it's got some nice lights on there. I've seen this, it showed 48 amps before. I haven't seen any of them pull more. Here's one pulling 46.9. So my guess is they have a 48 amp onboard charger. Yep, right there. At least that's what this is, 208 volt. And 65 degrees Fahrenheit. You'll see all the cables that they have lined up to charge these things. It looks kind of like a mess, so much power. And this is the unit that we took here, so pretty awesome. Hey guys, it's now actually the next day. I wanted to wait until it was light out to take one for a little ride here on their course. They're not letting us take them out on roads. It's about a top speed of 9 or 10 miles an hour, so I doubt we're really going to get a good feel for the car, but you'll at least join me for the first few inches driving a VinFast for the first time. Based off of last night's experience, I'm really hoping that we have a good one driving, but my expectations have been set very, very low. So yeah. Let's jump in one of the orange ones, because I think that's the best color, and go for a rip. I'm gonna go, I don't think they let anyone drive fast here, but they do a full throttle and a full brake, so we'll definitely test that. Here's one about to go for a full power launch. Let's see how it does. Yeah, and the dude's gotta hit the brakes. Oh my God. And what's crazy is they put people right on corner exit. So if I was driving this like an autocross, I would just be full send through here. Pretty dangerous. So no wonder why they're keeping a pretty low speed limit. Anyway, let's go drive this thing. You join me now inside the VinFast VF8, and we're here with Jeff, right?
Yeah, Jeff Payne.
Hey,
yeah.
Jeff, thanks for taking us for a ride.
Hey, thanks for driving me around.
Yeah. So we had, of course, our experience yesterday riding in the car. Now I'm going to drive it. This really is a very taste of a first driving impression, because we'll get up to maybe 10 or 15 miles an hour. But one thing I kind of wanted to play around with is some of the low speed motor calibration. We can see how it feels shifting around, see if we can feel any cogging. We have a backup camera from the year 2002 on the screen here. So just inching around, you can see you have to have your foot hard on the brake to go from gear to gear. And I can hear a little bit of motor cogging from the front, actually, mostly going forwards. You can hear a little bit of a grumble down there. That's not bad at all. A lot of electric cars have that, specifically with permanent magnet motors, and it's always accentuated though when you're going up a hill. So I'd be really curious to see, like, put this thing in a parking garage and see if you can feel it actually cog its way up at low speed. But let's go for a cruise. I have it set in normal mode right now. Creep mode is off. It's bringing us down to pretty much 0. It doesn't seem to be holding us here unless I put my foot on the brake, but I really like sort of a one-pedal driving-esque, if you will. Sport mode really sharpens the throttle, especially at low speed, and I think normal actually feels pretty good. There's more of the beeps that we noticed in yesterday's drive. So can we sort of send it through here a little bit?
Yeah, as long as you stop before we have what's called impact braking at the end.
Impact braking, we can do that. Yeah, great, let's do it. So pass the kick down switch, and then
perfect.
So brakes obviously go regen, and then you blend into friction brakes. What's weird is if you just mat the throttle, a lot of electric cars have this sort of artificial delay before it actually goes. I'd be curious to see if it does that in sport mode next, but that'll be interesting. So now we're just going, getting our cookie.
We're just going to go through.
Yeah.
We can get a cookie before you leave. That's you can't leave without your cookie.
Nice, yeah. And you know, steering's quite light, pretty bad turning radius. Actually, I hate to say it, but pretty awful turning radius, especially when you compare it to some of this car's competitors, like Volkswagen ID4 that can turn on a dime, and even Ioniq 5 and EV6 can really have much better radius. But it's a slow rack, it's a light rack, which is really nice. I know if I were to bump it into sport mode, it definitely stiffens up the rack a little bit, and the throttle becomes arguably a little bit too sensitive. As a driver, I really like a long throttle so I can modulate the power of the car throughout the whole thing. My impression is...
You don't have to pull in here.
Okay, we go for another lap. My impression is it doesn't feel like 400 horsepower, even from a launch. We're going to try actually full sport. We'll brake boost it, see if we can get a better launch off the line. Perhaps there's a little secret mode we have to get the car in to get it to go the best. So we'll just try and give ourselves as much room as possible here. We'll actually kind of go a little bit farther back. No lines on the camera, so you're just kind of left open. And let's not launch it in reverse. We're in drive.
Sure.
So left foot hard on the brake, flooring at the right. Interesting, it doesn't even allow you to torque over the motors. So there's a cutoff on the brake pedal. Brake pedal is, yeah, feels pretty artificial. Ready?
I'm ready.
Nothing happens, and then we go. And then of course, if we go hard brakes, that was full braking pressure, not even ABS at that level. So, you know, I'm sure if you stand on it and get the emergency booster to activate, you can get it into ABS limit braking, but not if you just roll into it, at least on a grippy surface like this. So a lot to explore here. I mean, generally we're talking performance metrics right now. This is not intended to be a performance car. It's going to be a daily driver, a commuter. And for that, I actually think the cabin's nicely spaced. It's got a small steering wheel, which is actually kind of fun to work around. The pedals are nicely spaced. It has a bottom hinged accelerator pedal, which I really like. I'm not sure why there's a kickdown switch other than just taking a part off of their existing combustion cars that they have. Yeah, a little bit bumpy on small impacts, but on large impacts, the suspension's at least a little bit. Well, we're good. I think that we got it.
Okay.
Thank you. And overall, I mean, for daily driving, for the price of the car, I just don't know why you would buy this over some of its competitors. But if you happen to rent this car, if you get in it and you're going, you know, if it's a company car for whatever reason, I don't think you'll be disappointed with your driving experience. Overall, the seating position's nice, really good view out the front, good headroom, good elbow room. I like the small wheel personally. And yeah, I mean, we already talked about all the interior stuff when we did the tech dive, but overall, yeah, I'd give it a 3 out of 10, which means totally livable, drivable, but wouldn't ever choose it. So there you guys have it. That is the end of the VinFast experience, and what an eye-opening experience that was. You see, most of the articles that I've read and videos I've seen on VinFast so far have been extremely positive, and I can't help but think it's only because of sponsorships, big vacation trips, and, you know, $7,000 bottles of whiskey is the rumor. And you know, I really think this was our first true impression. We came up here as EV owners to experience the car, and you know, if the car was in the context of $30,000, I think my opinion would be totally different. I'd say, okay, you have a pretty big battery pack in there, 87 kilowatt hours. You have, you know, 400 horsepower claimed, certainly does not feel like it. And, you know, I'd say like, okay, maybe we could get away with some of the stuff not working or really feeling crappy. But, you know, we've just talked to a whole bunch of people here at the booth, a lot of viewers. Thank you guys for watching. I'm sorry to make this video, but we got 10 different answers as to how much the car will cost. We got 10 different answers as to subscription is ending. Everyone seemed to agree with that there's going to be no more battery subscription. Some people were saying you're not even able to purchase it. And then the EPA range of 170 something miles with an 87 kilowatt hour battery pack, they're calling it the city version now. And then what are they going to do? Just compensate with a bigger battery pack to add more range? Are they going to add efficiency? Are they going to run a different test loop? Maybe they did the testing procedure wrong. I just don't know how you could get such an inefficient car with something that doesn't feel that inefficient. It actually glides pretty well. I mean, just cruising along. So I think the testing procedure was actually done wrong. I think you'd easily get all of that 170 miles out of it if truly you can pull 87 kilowatt hours out of the pack. Charging speeds seem to be pretty slow, 31, 32 minutes from 10 to 70%, where Ioniq 5, EV6, today's current technology, are doing it in 18 minutes, and this is a way more expensive offering. Seems pretty silly. In terms of driving it on the highway, it was very noisy. There were rattles in the car. Every time you turn the steering wheel, the power steering motor made creaking and weird noises. It has a kickdown switch from a combustion car with no transmission, which is, yes, some electric cars have it, but they utilize it in different ways. I didn't feel this being utilized at all. The brake pedal felt very spongy. The accelerator pedal was actually a good pedal, but again, not adapted for EVs. I thought the turning radius wasn't great. And the seats were just terrible. I mean, why would you want to spend time in that car? It will just make your day worse. The only really positive takeaway I can have in the car is the door thunk. Really nice door thunk, right, Alyssa?
Yeah.
What did you like about it?
I mean, honestly, like you said, if it were just around the $40,000
$40 bucks. Okay, now we're talking.
price range, it would have.
They got some tire spin. We didn't get any tire spin.
There's some tire squeals there.
I tried everything I could to get that thing to spin.
Yeah, but I mean, it would make a lot more sense. But just within the market and what you can get for the amount of money you would spend on this car, it makes absolutely no sense.
It's a non-starter. I mean, first of all, there's no service locations. I think
Right.
they have a plan to have them serviced through a third party, but do you really want to go to one of those, or do you want the automaker experience? They haven't proven themselves. All they've proven themselves to do, my true impression, is spend a lot of money, buy influencers and journalists for good reviews, and do nothing to really engineer a properly good product. Pretty disappointed, to say the least.
Yeah, I would agree.
So I feel like we just wasted a day on VinFast. Anyway, maybe we'll be able to drive it and play around with it. I doubt they'll give us a car to test, but if one of you guys are buying one, let us play around with it. And you know, we want to do all the charge tests, range tests, road trips. I bet we could get more than the EPA range out of this thing. That would be a great story for VinFast if we could, because I think they've really got themselves in a pickle with a roughly mid $50,000, high $50,000 car. Drew said the one he drove, they told him it was 62 grand.
Right, yeah.
And that is a 170-mile range with the worst feeling door handles on the inside ever, grab handles.
Just good Neutron.
Honestly, it's like, what else could you buy for the money? Aria, it makes the Aria look amazing. You could buy Fisker Ocean easily. That thing rocks compared to this. You could buy Ioniq 5, EV6, ID4. We're talking almost Model Y money. It's just crazy.
I mean, depending on the spec, yeah.
It's just crazy. So, yeah, let's get the heck out of here. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.